Hello everybody, welcome back to the MattVidPro AI YouTube channel. On this channel we have quite a history of covering the latest and greatest in terms of AI assistants. And typically I call them AI agents, because let's be honest, that just sounds way cooler. This is the first video I ever did on this topic, and what we covered in this video is something called AutoGPT. As you can see, it essentially used GPT-4 and some light background open source software to automate actions. And it all came in the form of this text box. It had some decent capabilities, such as long-form memory, as well as very limited internet scraping access. This thing was also able to essentially create folders and little notepad pieces. Nothing really that advanced, but really cool for the time. Just a few days later, that same technology was then implemented on websites, so you didn't have to install it on your own machine. It was a little bit more accessible, and the UI, as you could see, looked quite a bit nicer. For the most part, it was just nicer looking and easier to use, but still fairly limited in terms of what tasks it could actually complete. These early agents, AutoGPT, AgentGPT, Baby AGI, all had one major issue about them. They couldn't actually take control of your computer. They couldn't click on stuff. They couldn't access websites and read the data off them. Really, what you're looking for with one of these AGI agents is the ability for it to perform tasks on your behalf, just like a human would. Now, just a few months ago, we got our first glimpse at the real true agents that are possible using AI technology. Now, this AI assistant / agent was called HyperWrite AI Assistant. And essentially, when you install the plugin, it has access to your web browser and can do things on your behalf. It was able to browse Amazon, sort by lowest price for specific products, find the cheapest product. It could do things like order you a pizza, and this was my favorite, it actually built out a fully working computer system. With this original first version of the HyperWrite AI Assistant, it did have one major fatal flaw, and that was that it took forever. I mean forever for this thing to click on different links, think, and really just act on your behalf as that agent. Now, I've been following HyperWrite secretly on Twitter, reposting their stuff. By the way, follow me on Twitter if you want the latest and greatest in AI updates. But this thing recently got some upgrades that apparently make it like 10 times faster, and if so, if this is true, it would be an absolute game changer, so we gotta check this out. Now, before we dive into the rest of today's video, I'd like to address a concern that we all have in this technological age, and that is our personal data just floating around the internet for anyone to use. This is a massive problem that I personally hate dealing with. You can see my phone there, 72,000 unread emails, the majority of which are spam emails. Plenty of you viewers are also dealing with data collection and personal privacy issues from just simply browsing and using the web like a normal person would. It's really daunting to think about, but today's sponsor, Incogni, has our back. Incogni can be thought of as a personal AI guardian for your data. Because you're a regular internet user, you browse the web, you sign up for different websites, but data brokers and data miners can fetch your addresses, personal information, even your financial details or familial connections. Now, the same exact technology that is used to scrape up and scoop up all that information is actually leveraged by Incogni to protect your data instead. By granting Incogni the right to work on my behalf, their system automatically reaches out to those data collectors and brokers to ensure that your data is removed. They give you a detailed breakdown showing you which sites have removed your data so far, which ones are most likely to. Incogni continuously monitors this as you have your account, and if your data pops up again, they will remove it. So really, the best part about this is that you don't have to really change your web browsing habits. You can still visit your favorite websites and sign up for new stuff, and in the background, Incogni is going to take care of the rest. Personally, I would urge a lot of you community members to sign up for Incogni. Of course, use my link down below for an exclusive discount, just because there's a lot of new AI websites that are popping up. So especially in this blossoming AI community, stay one step ahead with Incogni. But I digress, back to your regularly scheduled content. Little context on Hyperwrite. This is an AI company that's been around for quite some time now. They have different little AI tools. This is all essentially built on the back end of ChatGPT's API. So it's GPT-3. They've got a chatbot assistant similar to ChatGPT, along with some other writing tools. But their personal assistant is truly what I am interested in. As you can see, when you boot up Personal Assistant in Hyperwrite AI, you've got a few different things, a little drop-down menu that shows you how many actions you have available left in Personal Assistant, and this refreshes every month. If you need more assistant actions, you can upgrade past their free plan, so that's an available option. Anyways, let's give this thing a shot. Yeah, posting on Twitter actually sounds like a good idea. Make a post on Twitter about how much I am enjoying the new Starfield game. Research the game, then me, MattVidProAI, and make a post. Specific actions we're giving this thing. Let's hit enter and see how fast it truly is. Okay, we're going to Google first and foremost, and now it's going to research the Starfield game like I asked it. As you can see, it pulls up the game and it's going to start to read details. It definitely is quite a bit faster than it used to be. This is super exciting. Fairly simple to get information on this. It's going to the main Starfield page here to get information directly from the source. That's what we like to see. Okay, it seems to maybe have got its information. Now it's going to Google for MattVidProAI, which is me. All right. Searching for MattVidProAI. It's going to pull up my YouTube channel, my Twitter account, maybe some recent videos. Let's see what it clicks on here. And also, it does have this generative AI information about me that's provided by Google. Okay, it's going to go to my Twitter account. Okay, so it's ready to make the post. So it's pulled up my Twitter. And again, it's logged in. It has access to my Chrome. So it's logged in as me in this scenario. And oh my God, it's making the post. It's making the post. Is it just going to post it? It forgot the I somehow up here. Okay, I'm gonna add the I up in the I'm having a blast. Interestingly enough, it wouldn't hit that post button for me. I think it did a pretty great job overall with this simple task. We will say that the assistant made some mistakes. Never click the post button. However, as an AI assistant, it might not want to do such drastic actions like posting on my account on my behalf. So maybe that's not allowed in its programming, we could say. Submit feedback. I'm super impressed by the speed. That is lightning fast. That is definitely like 10 times faster than the old personal assistant. I'm so happy that they're making progress. Since we are already on Twitter, guys, I'm going to bring something up. This is the direct source where we get our information about Hyperwrite's personal assistant. Matt Schumer here is the CEO of Hyperwrite AI, so he is providing updates here on Twitter about what's going on with this personal assistant. It's all built upon this Agent 1 model, which is 10 times faster, like we just saw, and more reliable and more affordable than the previous personal assistant. He also doubled the number of credits both free and paid users get. The reason this is so special and the reason I'm pointing it out is because it's actually a foundation model that has the ability to operate software like a human. This is something that they've developed themselves. Again, we've never seen anything like this before. It's super usable and actually useful. It's something that someone would pay for. This is no beta experiment, even though technically it is an alpha. They're already well above previous state-of-the-art stuff, and they're improving massively each week. Let's take a look at the little demo they provided, and of course, we'll check it out a little bit more ourselves. So in this scenario, we're telling the agent to use Google Cloud. Most of us would be lost on Google Cloud because it's specifically for developers, but essentially it's asking for a specific email to be added as an owner in IAM, and then go to the APIs and enable the Diagflow API. So this is like a pretty complex and nuanced task. This is something I don't know how to use. I'm not familiar with Google Cloud, and I don't know what the Diagflow API even is. Enough explaining, let's watch this. Okay, so submit that request. You can see it does think out loud. The current page is Google Cloud Platform, the dashboard for the Agent 1 demo project. The objective is to add this email. It noticed that the IAM and admin link is visible on the page, which should lead to the settings where he can add that email. So it actually thinks, it pulls up that new principal, it adds that email right in here. It's all doing this very, very fast, way faster than this agent previously worked, and it can actually filter and assign the role correctly so it didn't miss that specific nuanced detail. And now it moves on to the next part, which is enabling that API that was previously mentioned. It goes ahead, it goes to the API library, and now it's going to either see Diagflow in here. Yes, it did. It clicked on that, and it's going to go ahead and just enable it. It thinks like a human does. It goes out and picks out different things, just like a person can. It's pretty crazy. Like, it would probably take me longer than this AI to figure out how to do all this. Like, I'm not familiar with Google Cloud. Why is it so good? Why? I don't know. This stuff blows my mind, and I love the idea of AI agents. As usual, I always link everything down in the description below. If you want to play with this thing, you can try it out for completely free. You do get credits every single month. One thing that you do have to think about with this Hyperwrite personal assistant is that it does have access to your Chrome. So when you have it going out and doing tasks, it's logged into every account you're logged into. It has access to your address and everything else if that information is available in Chrome. So some of you who are maybe a little bit more concerned with privacy should keep that in mind. Now let's throw some tasks at this thing. Go to eBay and find me the cheapest Meta Quest 2. Make sure it is not broken. Oh, and do not forget to use the sorting built into eBay. Send that task off. As you can see, it always opens up a second Chrome window whenever you send a task out. As you can see, it's actually on my eBay account here. You can see things that I've previously watched and looked at. I don't mind if you guys see this stuff. All right, it's going to search for a Meta Quest 2 now on the eBay page. In some cases, it still is a little bit slower than a human, but it's definitely at an acceptable speed, something that I would pay for. All right, so now it's pulled up all the searches for the Meta Quest 2. I said I wanted a used one, and I said I want it to be the cheapest one. So it's searched for this, and now it should sort by lowest price and start looking at quests. Oh, it's clicking the sort button. Okay, it noticed that specific task. That is something I mentioned in my prompt. With most of these language model-based AIs, they do work better if you prompt them better. So if I was lazy and just said, find me Quest 2 cheapest, it wouldn't do as well, possibly. Oh, it was able to pull it up this time. Maybe I moved the mouse and that's how it got screwed up. It noticed that best match was the one that is currently selected, and it's trying to change it to price lowest first. And let's see, was it able to do that? It was able to do that. Okay, now the thing here is that we've got bids versus buy it now, and that's something I did not specify at all to the personal assistant. So it might be like, here's your cheapest bid on a Meta Quest 2. Just checking to see if this one is broken or not. Oh, it's clicking contact seller. It's gonna contact the eBay seller on my behalf. Oh my god, it's gonna ask about the condition of the product. No way it actually does this, because it couldn't figure out if it was broken or not. Okay, it seems to have bailed on that and decided that it was just a bad idea to contact the seller on my behalf. Again, it kind of seems to have trouble with those direct things, like pretending to be me. The thing is, like, this thing is logged in and has access to my credit card. It could just buy this. Let's see, could I like help this thing out a little bit? Just go back here. What I would love to do is to like pause this thing. Like, what happens if I do pause it? Oh, it just says task is paused. I do remember Hyperwrite actually talking about us users being able to talk to the AI midst it trying to work for you. So it could be like, hey, just like find me the buy it now cheapest instead of any of the bids. Just ignore the bids, because that's what I would do in real life. All right, I think this task is fully busted. I'm gonna go ahead and quit out of that. Again, this thing needs to be prompted correctly. So let's go ahead and try a similar task, but I'm gonna prompt it a little bit more specifically. All right, we'll stick with the technology theme. Go on eBay and find me the cheapest RTX 4080 GPU. Use eBay's sort option and make sure it's a buy it now, not a bid. Do not purchase. I'm not trying to spend $1,000. All right, we're going back to eBay. This is essentially a rerun of what we did previously. I just wanted to see if a better prompt would get this thing to complete the general task of finding me the cheapest product. Again, going very quickly. All right, it's sorted by buy it now, as I suggested in the prompt. The listings available for immediate purchase. I love reading like the AI's thoughts on the side. Okay, now it's going to sort, and it's going to try to sort by lowest first, as we saw before. Okay, here is the issue now. We're getting like RTX graphics cards, accessories, not the actual GPUs themselves. So it needs to be able to pinpoint the first actual GPU. So it seems to be scrolling down to view more items to find the actual graphics card. So it seems to be able to pick out the fact that these aren't the actual GPUs themselves. And it's gonna keep scrolling. Oh, it looks like we've come across the cheapest one there. It looks like that Zotac one up at the top. It should stop scrolling at this point because it's found the actual GPUs. Task completed. Okay, so it did pretty good. Almost perfect, I would say. It did scroll down to find the cheapest one on eBay, which is this one, so it's right here in front of our eyes. The only thing that it kind of left out here was the clicking on it and actually selecting it. Really nitpicking at this point. It completed the task perfectly. As you can see, you just kind of have to be very specific with your actions. With people, you have to be specific about what you want them to do. It doesn't necessarily infer all of the details, but I think that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable in my book. So far, we've used up about 50 actions total. So with the $20 plan, that would be about 1/4. Still pretty expensive, but this technology is in its infancy. I want to do a rehashing of the PC building that we did in the last video. It almost did it entirely perfect. All the components were compatible, but it forgot about a CPU cooler. And obviously this one's going to be a lot faster, I think, at doing this task, so let's just run through this quick. All right, go AI, build me a computer. Okay, goes right to PC part picker, as we expect. It dismissed the cookie consent dialog, which is awesome. I think it did that last time. It's gonna click start your build, and it's gonna select a CPU. This is so much faster than last time. We've already got the CPU selected. Oh, going right to the CPU cooler. This is what it missed last time. So now it's going to select a network adapter, apparently. It's interesting, though, in the dialogue, it said that it was looking for a motherboard. I think it messed up using the website. Yeah, see, we still only have the CPU selected, so it's trying to learn how to use PC part picker in real time as we're watching it, just like a person. So weird. Okay, now we have a motherboard. Oh my god, it did miss the CPU cooler, though, because it went back. It didn't select the CPU cooler correctly. So somehow it's missing it again because it didn't know how to use the website. Well, we've got RAM, we've got an SSD. Again, this is where I wish I could like intervene and be like, hey, are you missing something maybe? Maybe it'll verify at the end and check if it forgot anything. In fact, that's something that would be good to add on to all of your prompts with this personal assistant, is be like, verify at the end, check over, make sure you have everything. All right, we've got a case at this point. It would be cool too, like you could specify your preferences like, oh, I don't like Windows 11, so don't put that on my buying list. You guys got to think about this too, because most people do not know how to choose compatible computer parts right off the bat. And this is something that this thing has knowledge of, and it can literally do it all for you. All right, it says task completed here. I don't know if I would give this thing like a super great rating on this. It brought up Windows 11, but it didn't actually select it. And it did the same thing for the CPU cooler. Like it remembered to go pick out a CPU cooler, but it didn't select it correctly on the website. And when that didn't happen, it didn't go check itself. So again, something we could specify in the prompt to improve this in the future. So I'll give this thing like a B+. It came pretty close. And with a better prompt, it definitely, without a doubt, would complete this thing. Like if you know how to use certain websites and you know the nuances of those websites, you could explain them to the AI. All right, let's do something super complicated that only an assistant could do. Research the AI landscape in terms of AI image generation technologies. The goal is to create a new Google Doc and list out the pros and cons of each popular image generation tech. Find 8 different ones in total. After listing their pros and cons, draft a YouTube video outline in that same doc, ranking them from best to worst. Essentially, do my job for me. Let's make an AI YouTube video. Screw it. This is definitely going to be the most complicated task the AI has yet. All right, it's going to Google to do its research first and foremost, which I like. All right, so now it's going to learn a little bit about AI image generation technologies. Let's see what links it decides to click on. Again, I asked for 8 specific ones in total, which is a lot. Okay, the first one it's finding here is Photor. So it's going to go ahead and learn about Photor now. This is one I haven't heard about before. I think I saw someone post about this on my Discord though. So now it's gathering information from Google's AI. So let's see if it's like starting to talk to Google's Palm 2 AI chat model for search. That would be pretty crazy. Okay, now it's found a beginner's guide to AI image generators. Okay, it's found 7 best AI art generators of 2023. This is pretty good. Some acceptable, good information on this. All right, we're learning about DALL-E 2. It's managed to actually find pros and cons written by someone else about DALL-E 2, so I think that's going to check its box. Oh god, it's got a subscribe pop-up coming up. Alright, so now it's finding out information about Midjourney. It's funny, this pop-up is just not going away, but I don't think it cares because it can still read the page. Alright, now we've pulled up some information on Crayon. Got some different features, different pricing, pros and cons. And now we have Jasper Art, which does seem to have some sort of text-to-image generation. I've never used this. The one concern I do have is this dates back to July 11th. It is now, you know, a few months later, so a lot of this is probably a little bit outdated. This is a better job than I would expect out of most people if they're researching this information for the first time. I mean, this is some pretty nuanced stuff. People don't know much about AI or image generation. Okay, we've got a task completed. A little bit early, don't you think? No, this workflow was terminated early after reaching the platform's action limit, so I was not able to fully research all 8 image generation technologies. It got pretty far, and it would have completed it if it was allowed to continuously go. However, I can provide a summary of my research on the 3 technologies I did look into and indicate the drafting of a Google Doc. So it identified several AI image generator technologies and gathered preliminary information on 3 of them. DALL-E 2, developed by OpenAI. Of course, we all know DALL-E 2. High quality is, I don't know if I would consider DALL-E 2 super high quality. Interface is simplistic and self-explanatory, very true. Drawbacks include limited free credits, very true, and fewer customization options compared to other AI image generators, definitely very true. Alright, Midjourney, which is ideal for creating photorealistic AI art, that's actually true nowadays. That used to not be true, but it's very much true nowadays. Users request image generations from a Discord bot, definitely true. Supportive community of users and artists. Con includes not having a free version and the challenge of generating realistic images of hands and teeth. I guess that's true. They all struggle with that though. It's kind of besides the point. And lastly, we got Crayon, which is a tool that can create AI art images, free version available, basic designs without a membership, and transform their AI creations into wearable art through their websites. Cons lie in the encounter of ads and long generation wait times. And it actually did go ahead and create the suggested outline for the video, the introduction, explanation of AI image generation. Wow, okay, this is pretty good. It actually did create a nice little base for a YouTube video. I'm impressed. I really can't knock on the technology all that much for cutting me off. With the inclusion of like vector-based memory, maybe it could have kept going, but still, I think realistically the task that I asked it to complete was a little bit on the higher end there, and I think it honestly would have filled out and completed the whole thing, found 8 different technologies, wrote it all the comparisons out on a Google Doc, and finally wrote me an outline. It just was stopped early. So yeah, you can already see, like, that thing was doing a better job than most people would. Let's be honest. A little bit outdated, maybe, a little bit, but it's overall fairly reliable. For the up-to-date stuff, the real cutting edge, that's why you subscribe to the MattVidProAI channel. Anyways, if you want more up-to-date information on these AI agents and how they're progressing, definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.